lost my dad when I was 12. By 15, I found myself to be homeless. I spent a few months living on the railway platform. That family beat me up as a 15-year-old just because I was looking at their food. That taught me in life I have to achieve something.
Rajesh Dembla is the mastermind behind multi-million-dollar ventures and a trusted investor shaping the next generation of entrepreneurs. His journey is proof that perseverance changes everything.
You invested in 40 plus companies. At what point in time did you decide कि यार अब मेरा हो गया नौकरी का? I want to be an entrepreneur. How do you deal with money? What's your relationship with money? What are the defining pillars for your decision making in terms of this is where you should be investing your money, time, energy?
One is you're always investing in founders. You're not investing in businesses. So if your founders are good, they will figure out a way to make your business successful. Second thing that I see is you can't just keep burning money, and discounting is not a strategy. I believe the industry is not doing the right thing. What are these large e-commerce brands doing? Consumer ko apne, you spoiled him for choice. You spoiled him with discounts. Is it sustainable in the next 20 years? I don't think so. Is it good for India? I am going to spoil you so that I am going to make you hooked on to me and you can't leave me. That's the strategy. That's problem one. There is a bigger problem India is facing.
You said कि I wouldn't have been where I am today if I didn't go through where I was. So let's hear a little bit about your initial days.
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely stand by that. And there's, when life started for me, I was hardly 15 years old. I'd lost my dad when I was 12. And by 15, I found myself to be homeless, almost. Decided to, walk away and try and figure out life. And then I spent a few months living on the railway platform in Bangalore. Tough days, but life taught me a lot there. The good, the bad, the ugly. And I've spoken about it in several interviews and podcasts that I don't want to repeat.
Right.
But those incidents, for example, when that family beat me up as a 15-year-old, right? Just because I was looking at their food, कि नज़र लगा रहा है. That taught me in life that if I want to lead a good life or a decent life, I have to become somebody. I have to achieve something. Okay, it came the hard way, but at 15, that's the only way you could learn there. And the good things about life is when somebody used to very politely give me food on the railway platform. कि मेरे पास extra है, तुम खा लो. मुझे फेंकना पड़ेगा वरना, right? That's humanity. Right? That taught me a very simple lesson that when you're in a very good position, okay, make sure you help as many people as possible who are not in such a good position, right? That's a lesson much later in life, made a lot of sense to me, and that's shaped my life practically. The other thing that has helped me with my business being there is the ability to back my gut. Okay, I mean, if you look at it, my life story, do I believe in data when I take decisions? Of course I do.
Right.
Do I believe in analytics? I do. But I believe in my gut a lot more. Okay. And, most of the times my gut has been right. Most of the times, and almost to the extent of 8 or 9 out of 10 times, my gut has been right. And that's the reason why I will back my gut at any given point of time. And there's a very interesting thing I'll share with you. मैं बहुत लोगों को बोलता हूँ that life is about making decisions all the time.
Right.
Right? आप हर समय जो डिसीजन आज ले रहे हो, इस वक्त ले रहे हो, ये कहीं ना कहीं आगे चल के या तो आपका फायदा करेगा या नुकसान करेगा, आपको कहीं ऊपर पहुंचाएगा या गिराएगा. Right? That is decision making. A lot of people in the world don't succeed, okay, only because they can't make decisions. They are afraid of making a decision. So मैं उन लोगों को ये बोलता हूँ कि boss, listen, if you're making a decision 10 times, okay, and you get 5 right, you are normal, okay?
Right.
If you get 6 out of 10 decisions right, okay, you're good. If you get 7 out of 10 decisions right, okay, you are awesome. And if you get 8 out of 10 decisions right, you are not human, you're superhuman. But by chance you get 9 out of 10 right, you are God. Because I believe even God hasn't got 10 out of 10 right, if you believe in God.
I agree with you on that part.
So, if that's what it is, and why are you afraid of making decisions?
Right.
Make a decision. What will go wrong? Okay? You will fail. So what? You will learn out of it and you will move up. That's been the story of my life. What I have learned through all the hardships of my life is that whenever I have made a decision, it has either worked for me or not worked for me, but it has definitely taken me further in one way or the other. Even those decisions that didn't work, I've learned something out of it.
Right. Lessons.
Lessons are there to learn out of it. So if I had not made decisions and you maintain status quo, that is definitely a recipe for failure, because then you're not moving ahead. So that is something that I very firmly believe in. Also the decision making pe hum baat kar rahe hain. So, the decision making at the age of 15, 16, when I started my first venture, without knowing I was doing a venture with the vegetable vendors, doing a second shift, getting them, without understanding the word velocity at that time, getting them to, make more money in a day with the same capital, right? Had I not made that decision at that time, maybe I made that decision out of not knowing. Not knowing I'm making a decision, not knowing I'm getting into a venture. It was just pure hunger. कि मुझे तो पैसा कमाना है कुछ भी करके, and the right way. Right? But that was also decision making in hindsight when I look at it. So had I not made a decision that day, okay, I wouldn't have had the life lessons to be where I am today and attempt so many ventures, okay, which a lot of the times when I talk to my friends in the VC, community, or when I talk to my friends in the startup community, they are like B2C, like I'll tell you some of those things, they say, okay, you're doing something in B2C, nahi chalega. You need billions of dollars to compete. And I'm like, no, dude. You know what? You don't need billions of dollars to compete. You need execution, right? You need billions of dollars to burn. If you want to burn someone's money, right? Hard-earned money, go ahead.
Right.
Okay? You burn it and then hopefully you will succeed. But we have seen enough examples in the startup ecosystem.
Right.
They have burned billions of dollars and they're nowhere today. Right?
Absolutely.
I invested in Dunzo. It did exceedingly well.
Right.
And where is it today? Right? It's almost, wound up.
Yes, I was doing the research, and now that it definitely showed the other two guys a winning formula. I don't know what went wrong, and probably you'd be able to shed light. But then we were talking about it, and we were researching that Blinkit and then Zepto, they're predominantly just carrying the torch forward and adding their own uniqueness to it, and that's what is happening. But Dunzo really set the platform and the foundation for these two guys to come and do the same thing.
Absolutely. I am not the right person to speak about this first, but I'll tell you what I know. Where is Dunzo today? I mean, we all know, and I don't want to get into it. What happened? Why is it where it is? Not my business to talk about.
Fair enough.
Okay. I think Kabir, the founder, was a great guy. The rest of the founding team was an amazing team. When you're trying to grow at that pace, and they touched almost $1 billion valuation, and they were planning to go public at about $3.5 billion valuation at that time. And something went wrong. Okay, whatever went wrong, it's part of life, right? The joke is that I had an option to exit. There was a very, very large investment banker and a bank who had approached me to say that, why don't you sell? We will buy. And at that time, I called Kabir and I asked him. He said, no, sir, don't sell. We are definitely going public, and it will be 3 to 4 times the valuation where it is today. I trust him, and I think he was right. I don't think he cheated me. I don't think he misled me. Okay, it was a choice I made, right? This is one of those decisions that I made which didn't work, right? Had I sold that day, I would have made money. I didn't, and I lost everything. Okay, today it's zero.
Right.
Okay, fair enough. So am I going to feel bad about it? See, that's another life lesson. Did I feel bad about it? Of course I did. Okay, who wouldn't? However, I felt bad for a few days, maybe less than a week. And then I told myself, come on, you know what? there are 50 other opportunities, right? Let's build it all over again. That's something that has been a hallmark of my life, perseverance. Failure doesn't deter me.
Right.
Okay, if I fail today, I might be down for a day or two or a week, and then I know that I'm going to bounce back. I'm going to bounce back like 10 times better than before. That's me. Your question about Blinkit and Zepto, I think both have been executed very well. Okay, Blinkit especially, with Deepinder and the rest of the team, including Sanjeev, I've always spoken very highly of him.
Yes.
I think they've got a great team. They've got a great head on the shoulder, and their execution is world class, right? After Zomato acquired Blinkit. Same with Zepto. They've got, I think, if I'm not wrong, they've got still about $1 billion plus in the bank. Very difficult for a company sitting on $1 billion to fail, okay? And it's too big to fail. Have they copied Dunzo? I think so. They built on that model. Let's not call it copy, right?
Right.
Same is the case with Google. I mean, Google, I think, was the 12th or the 11th search engine in the US. There were 10 or 11 before which came and failed. Now, somebody from those 11 companies can't say Google is Google because of me, right?
Absolutely not.
So same is the case. Did Dunzo contribute to this idea being built and executed? Yes. I think a lot of good and bad was learned out of Dunzo. And I wish both Blinkit, Zepto, and everybody else who's getting into quick commerce all the best. It's a tough space. Okay, it's an extremely tough space to make money. I don't think everybody will succeed. I think everybody is getting into it. Flipkart's getting into it. Amazon's getting into it. Reliance is getting into it. I think sooner or later even the Tatas will get into it. I don't know how it's going to make sense. Probably it makes sense. Such businesses make sense in cities with high traffic. Okay, with very little time, with people having very little time. But I don't know about the rest of the country, okay? Also, what I feel is that it's always going to be tough in India to make money. But the Indian consumer is not loyal. Is at least not loyal to a brand.
Right.
Okay, the Indian consumer is loyal only to price.
True.
Right? And so this price war will continue and continue and continue. So eventually it is going to be the last man standing. I think. These are all my personal opinions, right? If it is going to be the last man standing, then so many others will lose. Is it worth it? We would probably have built a $50 billion company by losing $30 billion as a country. Okay? Is it worth it? That is the question that we need to ask. So can we organically grow this business as a country?
Mm-hmm.
See, I am not here today speaking as a founder, investor, entrepreneur. I am saying as a country today. Mm-hmm. Okay? Where should this money go? Again, it's very philosophical and very, people will give it different names. But I'm just saying that India, it doesn't have the comfort of saying I'll burn $20-30 billion to build a $50 billion company. That money can be better used.
Right.
Right? I think it has to be a partnership model where the government also plays a role, okay, in saying that money can be better utilized for India 1, India 2, India 3, or whatever we call Bharat, India. That money can be better put to use. In short, that's all I'm saying. But again, everybody has to take their own call. I'm somebody who always wishes every company to do well. But there are so many horror stories in the market.
Yeah, for every one successful story that you hear, there are at least 100 companies, if not more, who've run themselves into the ground and everything. And eventually it is about sustainability. You can't just keep burning money, and discounting is not a strategy which can be sustained for the long run. And like you rightly pointed out, Indian customer is probably the most price sensitive customer, and that's exactly where the loyalties lie. So how does one get around the Indian customer? And we have so many as well. And it's not just that it's the Indian middle class or lower middle class that is price sensitive. So you'll have the people who will be wearing Louis Vuittons and Gucci's of the world, but still they'll be very price sensitive when it comes to the other smaller things. So it's a very interesting market and dynamics. What I want to understand from you is that, you invested in 40 plus companies. What are the defining pillars for your decision making in terms of, okay, you feel that this is where you should be investing your money, time, energy? What goes through your checklist, or what are these pillars?
Okay, so first I learned from a gentleman called Julian Robertson, who was the original founder of Tiger Global, right? I mean, I learned from a conversation that I was listening to him at a conference in many years ago. You know, 2-3 things that were pivotal. One is you're always investing in founders. You're not investing in businesses. So if your founders are good, they will figure out a way to, make your business successful. So you always back founders and not businesses. 2, changing habits is impossible. It takes very long. If I want to launch, an alternate for a toothpaste, no matter what I do, you're not going to shift from a toothpaste to a new, a different brand of toothpaste maybe. But instead of toothpaste, if I tell you use this water, you're not going to move. It's going to take you years. Unless you're a very, very early adapter, you're from the industry, you want to know how it works. By and large, 99% of the market won't move. Second thing is, if somebody is trying to get maybe 2% or 3% market share in a very large total addressable market, that's a better business to be in because, you have a greater chance of success. These are the 2 factors that you look at. And then there are other things, whether you invest in B2B, whether you invest in B2C, are you domain specific, for example, fintech, you want to invest in edtech, you want to invest in medtech. I realized long back that nobody in the world has a goddamn answer to it, okay? Because these are moving goalposts. Okay?
Right.
And at some point of time, B2C was the flavor, right? And everybody was investing in companies, at valuations that were unheard of. Later on, it became like a bad word. Investing in B2C, no. We want only B2B SaaS, right? And today you see B2B SaaS is struggling like crazy in India. Monetizing B2B SaaS in India is almost next to impossible. And if you're building from India for the rest of the world, okay, sustaining is very difficult, right? I mean, it's not easy. Even B2B SaaS companies, the failure rates are even the same as B2C companies. So I don't understand this B2B, B2C debate. So domains, now at one point of time, fintech, everybody said fintech, isi mein dalo. And then later on, there is this very weird situation between the regulator and the fintech companies. And the regulator has different goals, okay? The fintech companies has different, their survival depends on disruption. And the regulator doesn't want disruption, right? They want partnership. So that, now suddenly fintech companies are falling like 9 pins. Same is the case with edtech. I mean, after Byju's, okay, that fiasco, where is edtech today? Right? And at one point of time, everybody was talking edtech. So my understanding of life is, especially as an investor, that you can't get this right. You can't time it. You try as much as you want. Okay, you will be lucky to be in the right time, right place. Which is why 1 in 50 companies will succeed, and which is why VCs and private equity players are also, having the same formula. They will invest in 20 companies and hope that one succeeds. So where is the formula? Where is the answer? There is no answer. So what I decided is I'll do exactly the same thing. I'll have one company which is doing medtech. I'll have somebody else in fintech. I'll have somebody else. And I'll back founders, right? If I like the founder, I'll back it, right? So that is where I am. So the way I decide is good founders across domains. I don't care whether it is B2B, whether it is B2C, okay? Wherever it's a regulated space, I'll be very careful because regulators are having very clear mandates, but that's not very transparent, right? I mean, if I know what the regulator wants, then I'll invest in a company that is going to be compliant with that regulation, but nobody knows.
Right.
Right? That's the problem.
When you say you invest in good founders, so what are the typical qualities that you're looking at? That what are the standout qualities where you like, हाँ यार, इसके ऊपर इस घोड़े पे मैं पैसा लगाऊंगा?
No. So somebody like, let's take for example, you're from a marketing background.
Right.
If you come as a founder to me and say that I am building something that will change the marketing landscape. Or
right.
If you're doing something in that space, you've been there, you've understood the problem, and you know how to solve it. Okay, and if I see certain qualities in you, right? One is obviously integrity, very difficult to identify at the beginning. If I see perseverance, then you've got to back that founder. But if you come to me and tell me that I am innovating and I'm building a robotic device which will replace a doctor. Yeah. So I'm probably going to, thank you for the time and politely walk away.
Right.
So that is one of the key, why are you doing what you're doing?
Right.
Why should you be the one solving that problem? Okay. Second thing that I see is, have you got the experience of building something? Okay. Be it a product, taking it to market. Have you got some experience of monetizing it? Or are you living in a la-la land saying that, give me money, I will figure out later on? Most founders that I meet don't have an idea about how they're going to monetize it. So if a founder doesn't have an ability to monetize, doesn't have experience of monetizing something in the past, right? Very difficult to back a founder like that.
Majority people are selling ideas and not proven concepts. And I'm not saying a proven concept has to be super successful, but some proof of concept.
Yeah, I mean, you don't try to raise money very early.
Right.
Probably you raise at the right time, you built an MVP, you put your own money first. Majority of the founders don't want to put any money. They say, I'm putting my time and that's my, contribution to the business. Fair enough, that is. However, I think if founders are willing to put a little bit of their own money and time, build an MVP, have the ability to, kind of build a POC around it and have about 10 customers or 15 customers, paying customers, and then that experience, all of that, yeah, that works.
Right.
And then you can put in money for initial growth, and then the VCs can come in for late stage growth, and then the PEs can come in at a later stage, right? But majority of the founders that write PO these days are, like you rightly said,
Ideas.
Idea stage. And always like, I have $1 million idea, I have $1 billion idea, I am disrupting this space. Good.
Disruption is probably the most bastardized word right now. I'm very interested in one part of your journey, and I'll shift gears here because I went through your podcasts and your LinkedIn profile. So you spent a lot of time working at Yellow Pages. I think that was definitive years for you to understand what was happening around, got a lot of exposure, brought you to some great training from Canadians as well.
Of course.
And then you spent a lot of time at Just Dial. So I just wanted clarity there as well, that at what point in time did you decide कि यार अब मेरा हो गया नौकरी का, so I want to be an entrepreneur? So what prompted the pivot or the shift, and then what was it, when did you decide कि अच्छा अब मेरे को ये time है, I will do it now?
Yes, I worked for many years in sales, okay, both at Yellow Pages. Before that, I did a lot of sales. I believe I was a very integral part of building Just Dial from its formation to its IPO. Just Dial was very instrumental in my life.
Right.
Also, I wouldn't be where I am today without what Just Dial did for me.
Right.
But there was a time, okay, I spoke about this conference in,
With
the
Julian
Tiger,
Robertson.
It was a Tiger conference, which used to happen then every year.
Give me a little bit of context. What is a Tiger conference?
Tiger Global is one of the largest VC, PE firms, okay? For their portfolio companies, they used to have a conference.
Perfect.
They used to bring their portfolio companies to New York. And they used to have some amazing speakers. I have met some of the most interesting people from around the world in those conferences. And I was at one of those conferences and I was listening to Julian Robertson, I was listening to Mary Meeker, I was listening to a whole bunch of people. During that time, I also had met Marshall Goldsmith. He was a neighbor, read his book. He gifted his book to me during many of our interactions, saying that what got you here won't get you there. And very interesting book. And that's a very interesting story also, I mean,
I'm all ears.
So I didn't know who Marshall Goldsmith was. I never heard of him, but he was obviously one of the biggest names in the world of business coaching. And he's like 6 feet, around 3 inches or 6 feet, 4 inches tall. And he's standing next to me in the lift. So he says hi. Like generally in the US you have, right?
Yeah.
And, good morning, nice weather and all that. I was on the 44th floor, takes time too. So he said, so I said, what do you do? So he said, I'm a coach. So I asked him, which sport? Yeah, हमारा सोच ही उतना था.
True, absolutely.
We come from, a coach word, मतलब coach, sport. So he said, no, I'm not. I'm a business coach. To me, that was the first time in my life I heard a word business coach. I never heard of it. I'm like, acha, business coach. Who do you coach? He said, you're from India. Have you heard of Mukesh Ambani? I'm like, dude, get lost. Everybody's about him. So he said, no, I'm a business coach for GMR, for the Ambanis, and for... I said, wow. I didn't believe him. I said, wow, that's great. And by the time we reached down, he also saw my face and I walked out of the lift and I was going away. And that's when I think he realized, he said, wait, I'll give you my book. And the story was, he pulled out a pen and he autographed the book. Right? And for a second, मेरे दिमाग में क्या चल रहा था कि यार मेरे पास पेन होता तो मैं भी करके देता था. I mean, I was so naive. I was, absolutely naive at that time. This was the story. But then when I was going for a walk at that time. And then when I came back and I saw what got you here, what get you there, that shaped a lot of my mind. That shaped my thinking. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, where I am, if I continue with my life the way it is, where will I end up when I'm 50, when I'm 55, when I'm 60? I was able to say, okay, at 15-20% year-on-year growth, okay, I'll be at a particular point. And that's when I told myself, no way, that's not where I want my life to end.
Money-wise or impact-wise?
Both. I mean, if I had continued at Just Dial, what impact would I have made? Okay? And even in terms of money, okay, first and foremost, I don't value money the way others do. For me, success is not money. Okay, to me, success, I'll talk about holistic success and holistic happiness, okay? To me, that has always been, and it's increasingly becoming more evident to me as to what is success and what is happiness. So at that point of time, I was very clear that my trajectory is not going to take me to a point where I'm going to be happy, okay? And that's when I decided that I'm going to think differently. But then there was loans. I had the EMIs to pay. I had a home loan, I had 2 or 3 home loans. I had about a couple of car loans. I had several of those compulsions that I need a salary. And then I told myself that, this is not a great place to be in. If I have to depend on money coming to me month on month to make those payments, that means I'm a slave. I have sold my soul for a few possessions which are meaningless the day I die, right? I don't want to be in this situation, okay? So what do I do? But I have a family, okay? I have kids. So what I did was planned it out. In 2014, I reached a point where I had paid off all my loans. Completely paid off all my loans. Sold shares, whatever I had.
House, cars, everything.
I cleared every single loan in my life.
You don't mind me asking how old were you then?
For about, 10, 11 years ago, I was 43, 44. Okay. Yeah. Not just debt free, I had made investments into equity markets and capital markets, both mutual. Enough that if I don't earn anything from my work, my family will run and my quality of life will be the same, right?
Perfect.
That's the best place to be in.
Absolutely.
Okay? I was in that place. And that's when I decided that now I will take risks. But having no education, formal education, I'm not from an Ivy League, no IIM tag, no IIT tag, no Stanford tag. So for you to go to VCs, okay, I did. And a lot of them were very polite. This won't work because you're not qualified enough. You don't tick all the boxes.
Right.
I said, okay, I dejected, but okay. In hindsight, again, a great move because I'm not answerable to, most people I have met in the VC world. I respect quite a few.
Right.
And I don't respect 10 times more out of those because many of them who are in that, in that space are there not because they've built businesses. They are there because they've got some educational qualification, whatever reasons they are in those jobs. They don't know how to build businesses, but they are going to tell founders that I will tell you how to build a business. It's exactly like our MBA colleges. आपका MBA कॉलेज में जो भी लेक्चरर है उसने कभी जिंदगी में बिजनेस बिल्ड नहीं किया लेकिन वो बच्चों को सिखा रहा है कि how to be successful with business. I mean, what is this even making sense? Right. So any which way, so I was in that great space in about 10, 11 years ago, and that's when I decided that I am going to follow my heart. Okay, and the greatest thing I have enjoyed in my life over the last 10 or 12 years is every morning when I wake up, I do what I want to do. I go where I want to go. I meet who I want to meet. No one in this goddamn world can tell me, you have to do this or you don't do that. That's the freedom that I have actually enjoyed the most. And I can give up everything for that freedom today. And I can tell you that freedom is invaluable, right? But provided you don't have the financial responsibilities. If you have a wife, small kids, and their education is on you, and then if you do this and they suffer because of you, that's not a good idea, right? So I decided this at the age of 43, and today when I look back at the last 10, 12 years, absolutely no regrets. I can do this. I mean, if I had been this mature 25 years ago, I would have done this.
So hindsight पे तो सब कुछ अच्छी हो सकती है, right? But I'll just try to connect the dots here. So you've gone for this conference, you've read this book, and you've then gone and cleared all the debt, taken care of, sorted your accounts, seen that this is what the financial thing is. After that, then while you're reading the book or while you're having these conversations, you are now thinking and pondering over कि अच्छा मेरे को अब business में invest करना है और businesses में invest करना है.
Okay. I didn't start by investing straight away. It was all accidental. Okay. I met a bunch of kids at another conference where I was a keynote speaker.
Right.
They were 20-year-olds. Okay. And they came up to me and said, hey, you know what? We need you to be our mentor because we are building a very commoditized business. They didn't know it was commoditized. They didn't know there are limitations. They had stars in their eyes, right? And they were doing everything from website building to whatever it is. This is 2010, 11. I said, okay, you know what, mentor and all is fine, but equity, I'll put some money, I'll take some equity, Then I don't mind. Okay. And they said, okay, they were also very simple people. And I was also, that was the first time in my life. So it was like, okay, how much is your paid up capital? X amount I'll take, I'll pay you that. That was my first ever investment, which was so small, okay, but so meaningful. Because that company in 7 years, we built it. And obviously when I say we, those guys built it.
Right.
I played a key role in mentoring them.
Right.
Okay. And then they sold the company to a Italian company, which was, there was a SPAC from the US. They had invested in it. And I exited in 2017. And then post that, they went public on the New York Stock Exchange. You see, so that journey of seeing that company, and I know that company because the first day I walked into the office, I saw everything with the company being wrong. They had no clue, why are we doing 5 things?
Right.
Why can't we do 1?
Right.
Okay. The first meeting that I had with the entire founders, there were 5 founders, and I said, what is the year-on-year growth you're looking at for the next year? And they said 25%. I said, no, you should be looking at 100% growth, maybe even 200% growth. So out of the 5, one guy used to head sales. Okay, he got up and left. He just left. ये आदमी पागल है, मैं कर ही नहीं सकेंगे हम लोग 200%.
Right.
So I called him back. I said, listen, I guide, you follow.
Right.
Let's see where we end up. You work towards 25. I'll work towards 200% growth. Let's see where it. And that year they ended up doing about 190% growth.
Wow.
Right? And then that company never looked back, to an extent that at some point they went and listed on the New York Stock Exchange. So, and those are great bunch of guys. This is a classic example of a bunch of guys who can come together, who are passionate, who have the ability to execute. If they have a mentor who takes them in the right direction. This was my first ever experience of investing. So in 2014, that's what encouraged me to say that, okay, I can invest in more such companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started looking at, and the world was changing. So let me tell you, every day the world is changing. I started looking at, e-commerce companies, sudden valuations, that they were raising money at. We've all got enamored by those media articles, right? And then there was so many other domains. Then there was gaming at one point of time, fintech at another point of time. So slowly started investing. That was, I think, 2014 to 2018, 19 was an amazing period. Met so many founders, learned so much. I could have never learned so much in my life. Every founder I meet, every company that I meet to evaluate, I learn more than they learn from me. You see, I'm sure I bring value to them. I'm not saying I don't bring value.
Of course.
But they bring more value to me because those guys are in their 20s and 25, 30-year-olds, the way they're thinking is different. In fact, I was talking to our team yesterday or day before yesterday about this classic case, okay? So somebody came up to me from the team and said, you know what? Zepto and Blinkit are doing so well that they're taking away consumers and business from Amazon, Flipkart, right? So what is it? Why is it happening? I said, there is no rocket science to it. It will happen simply because two things, right? 5 years ago, Flipkart and Amazon made a lot of sense. Okay. Today, 5 years ago, the 18-year-old who is today 23, okay. At 23, this guy has seen Dunzo, Zepto, Blinkit, etc., which can give him the product in 10 minutes. Why will he wait? And today, he's the one who's making that decision. So the shift is happening with those consumers, and it's happening there. For them, it's natural progression. For me at 55, probably it is not going to be natural. I will still look at what I'm doing. But a 20-year-old is not going to do that. And today, the guys who are like 20-year-old, and 3 years from now, that shift is going to be a lot more. So the world is changing on every front. With fintech companies, it's changing like crazy. Whoever thought, we all know the UPI story.
Yeah.
2015, if somebody would have told me that, there will come a time when every vegetable vendor and auto rickshaw driver will accept payments on a phone, I wouldn't have believed.
Nobody would have believed.
Right? It's a reality today.
Yeah.
So 10 years from now, what will be reality?
And if nothing else, COVID just fast-tracked digitization all across. Absolutely. So the progress that we've made in the last 4 years is something where probably if that wouldn't have happened, it would have probably maybe taken us 10 years to get there.
In fact, in my home, my wife and my daughter, they are both psychology background. They counsel people and stuff like that. That's their profession. And I remember telling them in 2016, 17 that, move online. Why do you meet people face to face, right? Because you're carrying so much negativity back.
Right.
And they would look at me like as if I'm an alien, like, kya baat kar rahe ho? Ye online hui nahi. How will I pick up, what's happening?
Right.
But what you're saying now, in COVID, there was no choice. They had to move online, right? And today, after COVID, it's never changed. It's completely online. And it's working.
It's working.
Right? So why COVID was wanted in their life was probably because they had to realize that, this can be done online. There's so much that can be done online.
That's the world we are in, and it's only going to get bigger in that domain. You brought up a very interesting point, which I also live by, and it's been a game changer for me. आपने ये बोला था कि आप इतने सारे लोगों से मिलते हो, इतनी सारी चीजें आप उनसे सीखते हो, and of course you're bringing your own value. I want to talk about people. Firstly, can you give me a couple of names of people who've really inspired you and shaped your thinking, apart from definitely Julian Robinson, who you have mentioned a couple of times?
Lots of people. I am eternally grateful to God for bringing so many amazing people into my life. Okay. Of course, we've spoken about two gentlemen there, Julian and Marshall Goldsmith. Apart from that, I think Mani, who is the founder of Just Dial, one of the most brilliant entrepreneurs, one of the most brilliant minds that I have had the fortune of, I've been fortunate enough to work with very closely for over a decade. Learned a lot, got inspired from him. I think he would be number one that will come to my mind. Then if I have to think about the others who have inspired me, there are so many. Sanjeev, I've met him only once or twice, but followed his story and looked at the way he's gone about building his life. Mind-blowing. I think he has, he has shown India what can be done. Sanjeev Bikhchandani.
Bikhchandani, yes. You've mentioned him earlier as well, so I know that he's somebody who's impacted.
Yeah, absolutely. He is another guy that's impacted me. Then you have, so many founders that have. Kabir, for example, his passion. Kabir was the founder of Dunzo. His passion, unmatched, right? That's why he was able to build Dunzo the way he built Dunzo at the time he built Dunzo, though it failed at a later stage.
Right. Okay?
Failure is okay in business, yeah. Everybody's failed. If you look at Google today, they have about 10 or 15 attempts at various products, all have failed.
And right now, ChatGPT, OpenAI is kicking Bard's backside. बहुत ही अभी nascent stage पे है. So
I mean,
of
from
course,
Google Glass.
Exactly.
Started with Google Glass.
Right.
I was in Barcelona at one point of time when Google Glass was and I tried it, and within 2 minutes I said, won't work, forget it. I don't know, I was a layman, but it didn't. So yeah, coming to who else inspired. So a lot of young founders have inspired me. Those 5 boys that I spoke about, the company, I don't want to name because, it doesn't make any sense. But those boys showed me that between 20 and 30, you can build a business and take it to NYSE. Possible, right? You can see that whole story. I was and what's the best thing? I've spoken about it at several events when they were there, saying the beauty about this relationship is I know what to do, okay, and I tell them and they do exactly the way I tell them. That's not very easy, to find a quality in people that, they have the ability to trust and execute that well. Those guys had that capability to do it. So I'm inspired by my co-founders in Zoozle, my founding team members. I see the integrity there. I see the honesty there. I see the effort that they're putting in. Unmatched. I'm a very difficult co-founder or founder because you know why? I will not go and raise money, unless and until I know that the person who's putting in the money is also believing in our story and has, patience to wait it out. I don't want to build a company, take it to where Byju's went and then let it fall. I don't want to do those things. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. And I don't want to spoil my life because I want somebody else to make money.
Right.
So I have learned so many qualities from my co-founding team, Varun and, Sukriti. And if I look at so many other people that have worked with me, I am, at a loss for words now, but because I'm a little emotional when I think about such people. They're not only great, partners to have, they're great human beings. And that inspires. So these other people, and I'm sure like me, you have so many people in your life. They're not popular, they're not famous, but they have played a much more important role. Last but not the least, my family. When I look at my son today or my daughter today, okay, I go back to them and say, do you think I should do this or do you think this is the right thing to do? The tables are turning. And that's a beautiful place to be in. And I don't think it would have been possible, without my wife, the way she's, contributed to bringing them up.
Right.
So these are all people that can inspire you, in ways beyond. So that's where I'm a little more spiritual these days. I believe in holistic happiness. I was telling you about it.
Yes, you said you'd tell me more about holistic happiness in your approach there.
Yeah, you see what's happening is, so let me take this out from here, right? What is happiness? Happiness can be, you wanted a BMW and you got it. How long will you be happy? Maybe 3 months, best case scenario, right? You wanted a big penthouse in New York, you bought it. How long will you be happy? Maybe some more time, right? That's not happiness forever. It's not holistic, right? If you were in love with somebody and you married that person, how long are you going to be in love and how long are you going to be happy? Maybe a few years. Things change, right? So holistic happiness is when you are healthy physically. Okay, because without being physically healthy, there is nothing much you can achieve. When your mind is in a great space, that's the second part. Holistic happiness can't come if your mind is all cluttered and, you're confused and, you're one day you're doing this and another day you're doing that. Today you want something. So your mind has to be in a good space. That's second part, good health, good mind and good relationships. Imagine if you have a lot of money, you have, everything else, but your relationship at home and with people you love is not good and you're fighting every day. You can't be happy. And you can't keep looking over your back saying somebody's going to stab me.
Yeah.
So good relationships is important. And last but not the least, financial success is important. Whatever we say, at the end of the day, you need to be comfortable financially, right? If you have these four things, the probability of you being happy holistically is much higher. Okay? I won't say it's 100%, but it's much higher. And today, there are not too many programs, okay, which help people to achieve holistic happiness. Okay? And in the last couple of years, I have come across something called as breath work. Okay? Now, breath work has changed a lot for me. Okay? Now, what it's done is, this is the breath work by Sadgamaya is what I've come across. And our teacher there is a gentleman called Mahesh Ji. I was not a believer. I've never been a believer. Okay? I went reluctantly, 2-day retreat, and I just did simple basic course and 2 days of breathing. When I finished the day 1, I was literally crying, okay, saying that how can this happen? I did nothing other than breathing. And there was so much of trauma release. There was so much of change inside me, mentally, physically. Second day was a complete change, okay? And I said, man, this is something, I want to know more about it. That's where I realized that, when there are certain breathing techniques which heal you at a cell level, because each cell inside us apparently is carrying memories from our childhood. Okay? And I'm sure you know that by the age of 7, each of us have written our own life script. Okay? If you are having financial problems, okay, if you are having relationship problems, if you are having health problems, if you are having any sort of a problem today and it is repeating again and again, it means that it is something you have written in your own script before you were 7 years old, based on your experiences of upbringing, based on your whatever else. If you understand your script, and if you understand why am I doing this again and again and again. For example, let's take a girl, okay? If she's in a relationship, a bad relationship, right? And generally, she will be in a continuous bad relationship. She'll go and seek a guy who is not good for her. Because in her life script, okay, she had decided before 7 that I will have this problem. She has decided I will have this problem somehow. So this is, one is, what is happening at a cell level, and the second thing is our script. I learned about this, in the last couple of years. I did a specialization course in life scripts. Okay, and it's called transactional analysis.
That's so interesting.
And I realized that everything that was a problem that I was facing, I was creating. If I was unable to create, I was not happy. I was seeking unhappiness. Can you believe it? It's a realization that I had. And that, my friend, I realized that at a cell level, if I can heal myself, right, I will be able to go back and change my life script also, mentally. And today, I am so much more at peace, so much happier with even failure. Now, that's the difference. I can be happy with success, but today I have learned to be happy with my successes, my failures, my, good day, bad day, whatever it is. And it's all thanks to this. So, which is where in 2025, I am setting up a group of people who will do retreats across the world in some of the most energized locations. Okay, locations not necessarily 5-star and 7-star hotels, but based on energies.
Right.
Okay, and these 2, 3-day, 4-day retreats will basically focus on holistic happiness for a person, where that person can go back and start having all aspects of life, financial success through breathing and through understanding life script, health improvement, relationships, right, and mental, which is spirituality, not religion.
Of course.
Right? Spirituality, right? So I'm working towards, we are actually putting together a program, okay? And I'm really very excited about it.
I can feel the excitement and the energy and the passion.
Yeah. Because, I know even if I can impact 50,000 people before I die, I think I'll be happier. Okay. Any which ways I'm building what I'm building with
Right.
Zoozle and with a whole lot of other bunch of other products.
Right.
I know I will impact millions.
It will happen.
It's happening as we speak. In fact, I'm so excited about the successes that we are seeing. Okay, so that is the best part about my life today. I see my impact on the world both in terms of using technology as a tool, and now in 2025, sometime we're going to launch the spiritual journey to holistic happiness. All of this, when I look back while I was at the railway platform and sleeping, there's no chance on earth I would have thought that I will even be able to sit and speak with you this way or with anybody, So, yeah, that's how life has turned out. It's beautiful.
And that's such a amazing perspective that you've had. It's been great experiences, journeys. Oh, you've been very candid about how it is important to have the financial stability. And you're somebody who had seen a time where you had no money, to being in a very, very comfortable position now, being debt free, like you said that you were, and then earning millions of dollars. I think, I can be wrong, but I'm generalizing here. A lot of parents don't have money conversations with their kids at home. Or probably a lot of youngsters, people don't have these money conversations at an early stage, wherein what eventually ends up happening is that we end up working for money rather than making the money work for us. So what's your take there? And I'd love to understand this from somebody who's, gone through that entire journey and that landscape of not having any to having way too many. So what's your, how do you deal with money? What's your relationship with money? Do you have these kind of conversations with your kids that how should they make money work for them?
Oh, yes, I do. I've been doing that from a very early age with both my kids, and I think every parent should. Okay. You brought up a very important point about passive income. When you say make money work for money, basically you're talking about creating passive income.
Right.
I think it's a very critical aspect of parenting. Every kid is much smarter than we think they are. They understand concepts very quickly. And you can gamify it as a parent. Okay, you can gamify, and there are many games also which you can start playing with children, but you can start money or financial success as a subject with your kids at home because schools won't teach it. And I think it's as early as 10 years is when children should be, exposed to such, conversations. And then my relationship with money as a parent, first, I'll finish the parent part, right? Majority of the parents, again, I'm talking about a negative aspect. Majority of the parents think the responsibility as a parent ends if my child is wanting $200, give him the $200, be done with it, let him or her do what they want. That's actually negative. That's not a great practice. I'm not saying don't give money to children. I'm saying just giving money doesn't end your parenting responsibilities, right? You need to teach them what is the value of money, right? You need to teach them how to earn money at an early age.
Right.
What are the methods of earning? You work for it, like you said. So you're basically selling your time for money.
Right.
But your time is so limited in this earth, right? Why do you want to sell your time for money?
Right.
Right? You must teach them that their time is meant for their individual growth.
Right.
And teach them, methods of making money, which I call passive income, right? Without using time. Maybe it's difficult initially, but they will learn it. Say, for example, investments that produce income for you, right? World over, people think about 8%, 10%, 11% IRR, up to 20-25% IRR is a good return. I think at early age, you can even make 100% IRR. You give them. So, say for example, the first venture that I did, I put in zero money, and I was earning unimaginable sums of money for that age. I was 15. Nothing I invested, right, of my own,
Right.
except for effort,
Absolutely.
right? And at that time, my time was all free, right? So there, encourage your children to figure out how to make money, okay, within your society. Say, for example, your society itself, there are about 500, 800,000 people living, communities,
Easy.
societies, community, right? The building. You know, if a child wants to set up a small venture, don't feel ashamed about it. You come from a rich background, you believe you're rich, and how can my child do something to make money? No, in fact, it should be the other way around. In fact, resident welfare associations should encourage children to do this, not just parents. Okay, majority of the resident welfare associations in wherever I have seen are people who are sitting there thinking, I am now powerful because I have got I am president, vice president, I am secretary, treasurer. Come on. I mean, those are all designations. That doesn't give you power, doesn't make you any better than what you were yesterday, or you are not going to be any better off tomorrow. If you impact 100 children in the community and teach them how to start a business within the community, don't expose them to the world outside. It's cruel. You've done a great job as an RWA, right? Involve them in, when you're making a decision saying that, you know what, in our society, we are spending so much on, let's say, the gym. Should we be spending this? What do you think? Involve those children, right? Make them give their point of view. They will understand, okay, where to spend money. Because just earning money is not financial knowledge. Earning money is part of the financial knowledge. Saving money is the second part. Spending it right is the third part. Now, all of this can be done. And I think parents and RWA should encourage their kids to do something like this, right? That's something that I very, very strongly believe in, right? My relationship with money is very funny. Yeah. There was a time, for me, getting a meal, one meal a day was like luxury. you know.
Right.
And therefore, I wanted a lot of money. Today, I don't think, I can't say this for the world, but today I don't think that I just want money. Do I want money? Yes, I want money. I want to attract money. I'll visualize, I'll do all of that. But I want holistic happiness because I have realized that I have seen so many people in my circle. They have so much money that they won't be able to spend it in 5 lifetimes, but they're not happy. They're not happy. They've got other problems, right? I don't think money alone should be the goal.
Today's episode is brought to you by Kent Water Purification Systems. They are the pioneers in providing you with tasty, healthy, and chemical-free water. Not only are their water softeners great to reduce hair fall, but they have some amazing benefits towards your laundry and dishes. This is their offer for the current month. I recommend that you visit kentwater.ca and schedule a free water test to learn and understand more about the benefits of installing a water purification system. Thanks and enjoy the chat.
For a 7-year-old who does not understand what Zoozle is, so help me understand what Zoozle is, and I have a few follow-up questions on that as well.
So Zoozle is an attempt, okay, to build an Costco equivalent for India purely online, okay? Now in India, you already have so many options to buy whatever you want, okay? You're already buying from probably Amazon, Flipkart, Meesho, Zepto, Blinkit, etc., etc. You're already buying what you want,
Correct.
right? And we spoke about price being the most sensitive aspect, and everybody wants a great price. So at Zoozle, we are trying to make an attempt that if you want to buy something, we might be able to give you 8, 10, 15, 20% cheaper than any other platform for the same product from the same brand, for the same model, okay? If you're a member, okay? Now, how do we do this, okay? It's a very simple thing. There is no rocket science. Everybody else is making money. Okay, now let's say, for example, you're selling a product. Seller is giving the product to the platform to sell, let's say, whichever platform. The platform is charging a platform fee of 18% or 20%.
Right.
Plus, there are other costs that they charge you. We also charge the same, but we don't keep it with ourselves. We pass it on to our members. Okay, so there's no rocket science. That's what Costco does in the North America region. But Costco has these huge warehouses. You walk in and you buy. Plus, Costco is wholesale.
Right.
Right? So you can't buy one pair of socks.
You can't.
You need to buy So we are trying to say, can we retail it? Can I give you one pair of socks if you like? Can I give you for your dog one single collar? I'll try and give it to you, right? We're a marketplace. So we'll give you a single piece. The same seller may be selling it on another platform at, let's say, 1,000 rupees and paying 18% there. He's paying 18% to us also. That 18% we will pass on 150 rupees to you because we need to pay the payment gateway for the rest of the small costs. We don't make any money on the product sale, right?
Okay.
The only money we will make from you is the membership fee, which we charge about 1,000 rupees a year, which will give you free for a year. Okay, try us. Try buying from Zoozle for a year and see how much you're saving at the end of the year, and then you decide whether you want to pay and continue your membership, right? And we also give you those analytics at the end of the year saying how much you've saved. That's what Zoozle is all about. There is nothing, no great innovation here and stuff like that. It's plain simple. The market is huge. About 500 million people in India today are buying something or the other online. That's how big the market is. And if we can get out of 500 million, if I can get 2 or 3 million people to buy from us, I think we're home. And that's what our partners also believe. We have some amazing partners. Times of India Group has believed in our vision, and now they are part of Zoozle. They have invested some, capital in the form of brand capital. We would love to invite someone like a Google to look at us seriously.
Right.
Because of what we are planning to launch in 25 and 26 is going to change the game drastically.
Right.
What we are planning to do is, I don't know if you know, we used to run a reseller network, where any individual could become a reseller.
Yeah.
We are changing that.
Okay.
We're changing that to a distributor network. So, for example, there are about 5,000 pin codes we will start with in India.
Okay.
And those zip codes equivalent.
Zip codes, yeah.
So you can own a zip code or a pin code in India.
Right.
Okay. And that pin code, you can open a store, okay, where our sellers will actually use it as a warehouse as well as a, experience center. Okay. And then whenever an order is placed from anywhere in the country, as long as the delivery has to come into that pin code, it goes from your warehouse, you make money on everything that the platform does. It's an extremely interesting concept. Okay, we are going to launch that next year. We are working on it right now. And I believe that in the next 3 years, we will have about 5,000 outlets. They will be called the Zoozle outlets. It will give all our sellers on the platform a great opportunity to put their products out there, because today the only way you see them is online and you can't touch, feel.
Right.
So this will give those brands an opportunity to touch, feel those products. I think it's a great model, and, we look forward to doing some amazing work with it. The reason why I am doing Zoozle, that's more important. Do I want money out of Zoozle? Yes, at some stage. All of us are doing,
of course,
want it. I have decided 90% of everything I make will go back to charity. Okay, and charity doesn't mean charity as poor charity. It can go back to the startup ecosystem. It can go back to, I'll take 10% of it as, salary for myself. That's my personal goal. I want to do Zoozle because I believe the industry is not doing the right thing. I don't think Amazon's doing the right thing. I don't think Flipkart's doing the right thing. Okay. I don't think this valuation of 20, 50, $100 billion should be the reason why you're in India to do business. If you want India as a market, you must do what's right for the Indians. If it's not right for the Indians, and if somebody is making $100 billion business out of it, I don't care. That's my take, personal. I don't care if, nobody in the world agrees with me. It's fine. I can still believe what I want to believe.
Absolutely.
Right? And I strongly believe this. Right? And if VCs are investing money in businesses and their goal is to, increase the valuations, take it public, and at some stage, the rest of the game. Is it good for India? I don't think so. Right. It's not that India doesn't have the money. It's not that government funds cannot invest in such concepts and in such ventures. I believe very strongly what is good for India is what should be done.
But how do we, I laud you for this, but हम उस customer को कैसे ये समझाएंगे who's so price sensitive and who's now so used to all these discounting strategies and platforms and hooks that we keep sending people.
Let me speak about a problem first.
Right.
Okay. Which we haven't spoken about.
Right.
So, what are these large e-commerce brands doing? Okay, which is hurting in India. Consumer ko apne, you spoiled him for choice. You spoiled him with discounts. Is
Right.
it sustainable in the next 20 years? I don't think so. So at some stage, you're going to tell the same consumer, listen, buddy, over the last 10, 15 years, I have lost so many $1 billion. Now I'm going to recover everything from you, which is what is happening with the airline industry, which is what is happening with the hotel industry today. COVID, they all lost money. Post-COVID, once the markets bounce back, you see the pricing, it's not pre-COVID prices.
It isn't.
It isn't, right? So you know, and we know, we are all paying for it today, which means that no business owner wants to lose money on you.
Correct.
Okay? I am going to spoil you so that I am going to make you hooked on to me and you can't leave me. That's the strategy. That's problem one. Okay? Now, there is a bigger problem India is facing. And I'm saying India specific because India has always been a market of traders. Small traders, small retailers. Okay? They are the ones who are going out of business today. There is this sham that is being spoken about saying we are empowering the small businesses. We are not. Because if you are empowering small businesses, okay, then where are the private labels coming in from? Why are you hurting manufacturers by putting in private labels there? Because eventually you're saying that, there are products which I don't need from you anymore. I'll sell till I understand the business. Now I've understood it. I'll manufacture it at a lesser price because I have the reach. Right? And then you start doing private label. Who goes out of business? The Indian manufacturer goes out of business. The Indian trader goes out of business. Right? Is that good for India? Because 90% of employment in India, even today, comes from the small business owners, the MSMEs. Right? They're getting hurt. Who's talking about them? Who's talking about protecting them?
कोई नहीं कर रहा.
कोई नहीं कर रहा ना, तो ये कहाँ जाके खत्म होगा? Where will those guys go? On the one hand, that is happening. On the other hand, AI is taking away, at least, a lot of the call center jobs are going to go out. A lot of those repeatable jobs that are coming in are going to go out. Robotics, okay? Musk is working on, whatever his theory of robotics is. And I greatly admire the guy. I think he's doing the right thing. Robotics is a must. It should come in. But that is also going to take away jobs eventually at some stage.
वो हो रहा है. And I will give you an example that in Toronto, we've already started seeing, and this happened 4 years back, so now it's only multiplying, that these robots, they go to the kitchen, you just put the food which has to be delivered to a table, and they've mapped what the floor of the restaurant is. Automatically that is coming and delivering food to you. Manpower gone out of there. Toronto airport, if you're coming and going, unlike India where you have 4 or 5 people ready to pick your bag, print your bag tags, etc. Nothing. Pick your bag. Once you've done your check-in, your tags come in. Go and put your bag onto the weighing scale. If it is a certain within the weighing limit, it goes. If it isn't, go back, pay $100, come back, done. Manpower eliminated.
Yeah, what you've spoken about is the tip of the iceberg.
Absolutely.
Factories.
वो तो हमें अभी तक पता ही नहीं because मेरा तो इतना limited exposure है.
There are millions of workers that are going to go out.
Right.
Okay, thanks to robotics. Now, on the one hand, the small traders are going to be impacted. On the other hand, people who are having jobs are going to get impacted, right? Who's going to benefit? That is how you get these companies with $100 billion, $200, $500 billion valuations, right? $1 trillion valuations. How do you get those companies? It is basically because somebody is losing, somebody else is gaining.
Right.
Right? Where will the world end? That's something which we need to think about. Now, that is where I come from.
Right.
So, when I talk about Zoozle, okay, I don't care if my business model doesn't make sense to somebody, right? If it makes sense to me saying that I will create 5,000, 50,000 entrepreneurs who can, earn money out of it, for me that is success. Okay? And that is what I will attempt. Will I succeed? Will I fail? I don't care. I am in a position that I can do it on my own. I have some very good friends who are investors with us. They are backing us. I'm backing myself. We are happy to do this. Right? Our teams, they work at probably 1/4 or 1/5 the cost of what they could make in some other company. Right? Why are they doing it? Because they believe in the vision. Right? We have a vision. Absolutely. We are clear about our vision. Will we do it in 3 years? We'll do it in 7 years or 10 years, but we will do it. We're not giving up. We're not running away. Right? We are here to stay, and we will do it on our own. Right? That is the vision with which Zoozle is being built. So through your podcast, now probably in the month of Jan or Feb, we will announce, the 5,000 pin codes where we are looking at entrepreneurs joining us, preferably homemakers who want to do something, preferably students out of college who want to do something. We will invite them to be part of it. And those will also act as dark stores and experience centers combined for delivery within the pin code, right? So if you order something, will you get it in half an hour? Maybe not. Will you get it in 2 hours? Maybe yes.
Absolutely.
Because it's coming from your pin code.
Right.
You may even get it in 10 minutes.
Right.
Okay. But I still don't think everything is required in 10 minutes.
Nothing is required. This is just this false sense of urgency that has been created.
Absolutely. So if it is something that you really require in 10 minutes, please be our friends Zepto and Blinkit will deliver it to you. Please buy it from there. If you need it from, if you need something from us which is meaningful, and we'll deliver it to you in our time, but we promise you the best price, we will give it to you. We will never lose money. Okay, our philosophy is very clear. If I'm buying something at 100 rupees and selling it at 105 rupees, I'm okay with it. 101 rupee, I'm okay with it. Okay, I will not sell it 99 rupees. Sorry, it's okay, you buy it from somewhere else. Right?
Definitely.
That's our philosophy. That's Zoozle for you.
It's very interesting, and I'm so happy that you've been able to give us so much of insights into it. And I'm going to be excited to see what the future holds for it, and especially somebody who has such pure intentions behind a purpose like this. I think intentionality is critical to building something big, sustainable, and everything takes time. And it will happen, and it will happen big. See, now आप अभी ऐसी situation में हो कि आप pretty much जिससे बात करना चाहते हो, or whoever person you want to access, you have the wherewithal to get access to that person. But while you were coming up the ranks, while you were working in organizations, and then when you were on your initial entrepreneurial journey, people say that you are a sum of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. Correct. And they are the ones who end up influencing you. Correct. So from a perspective, and this is not limited to entrepreneurs, हर बंदा life में अच्छा करना चाहता है. And I'm not somebody who bashes people for doing 9 to 5s. If that is what brings them holistic happiness, then good for them, right? But how do I surround myself? How do I identify कि वो 5 लोग कौन है जो मेरी एनर्जी सैप ना करें, बट मेरे को री एनर्जाइज करें, मेरे को पॉजिटिवली इन्फ्लुएंस करें? Is there any barometer that you have for that?
Yes and no. Okay. So let's talk about network. The 5. You spoke about 5. I'll talk about network. Your network is your net worth and all of these cliched things we've heard over the years. I don't think there is a formula. I think different things work for different people. So let's talk about reach. Now, if I want to reach somebody, right, why do I want to reach them is important. What's in it for them is more important than what's in it for me, right? Now, let's say, for example, I want to reach, let's say, a large decision maker in one of the biggest conglomerates in the world. What's in it for him? Why should he talk to me and waste his time? If I don't put that across as upfront, even if I get to him, I'm wasting his time. I think that's more important, right? So if you have very clear win-win strategies saying that, look, I want you to meet me because I can do this for you, and this is how it will benefit you, and this is how it will also benefit me, very honestly put across, you will eventually get the guy on the table. Now, how do you use that network to reach him? If that's your question, today there are a whole lot of networks which are available, good networks, bad networks, okay, which are time wasters. In fact, I was talking to somebody last night, okay? And he was telling me there is this massive event which is happening, 10,000 startups are coming in and 500 investors are coming in from all over the world, and it's a massive gala event, there's going to be. I was listening to it and I said, I never attend such events. Simple. I mean, why? Because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time for everybody. Out of those 15,000, 10, 20, 30,000 people that attend an event like that, not even 100 people go out with a meaningful association that is built.
True.
Right?
Absolutely.
The rest of them came in and wasted money and time. wasted money is a bigger thing because they could have spent that money more meaningfully into their business. Why are they here? They want to feel important.
Right.
I was there. They want to put that picture on LinkedIn and Facebook and Insta. I was there. I don't want to be, that's FOMO. But I don't think these events actually pay off. Okay. Eventually it pays off for 1% of the people, maybe. Okay. Even for the organizers, it doesn't pay off. It's a feel-good factor. I organize this event. Okay. Yeah. But then to organize that event, it takes you 1 year of hard work. Okay. How much of energy has gone into it?
True.
How much of money has gone into it? Could that money have actually, let's say for example, a very large event like that, if it's costed the organization, let's say, couple of $1 million to put up.
Easy.
Yeah, easily, right? A couple of $1 million could be used to fund 2 companies meaningfully. At least 2 companies will do something good out of it. That's my belief.
Right.
I'm very different and I don't want the world to believe me on this or take me up on this. It's okay. You can have a different opinion about it. I respect it. And I don't know if my opinion is right or wrong. That's the disclaimer. Maybe your opinion is right on it. I'm happy to accept it, but it doesn't work for me. So how do you build a network? I think you need to build a network of people, okay, based on the foundation of honesty. Like if I want, to build, I want to hang around with 5 guys that are meaningful to me. They should be meaningful to me overall in life, just not to achieve a common.
Transactional nahi hona chahiye.
Absolutely. You got the word right. It shouldn't be transactional. If it's transactional, it's easy to build those networks, right? I mean, you don't need a network. You just, for that transaction, you know whom to reach out to. It's been easy for me, okay? Because I've been honest with what I want. I tell people, this is what I want out of you. This is what I can do for you. Tell me if you're in. Otherwise, it's okay. Somebody else will take it, Don't waste time on it. That's my thought. It's very radical, I know. It's very different, I know. It's worked for me. It may not work for everyone. So this part of the podcast, take it with a pinch of salt if it works. Otherwise, leave it.
No, but that's straight from the heart. I love it because I think the point that you've driven home first and foremost is that approaching it with a certain amount of honesty, because technically everything networking is right now, it's just, how do I put it? In the West, right, for the students and new immigrants, it's like a booty call for getting a job. Ki haan, meko kisi tarike se mil lo. But and it's again very transactional ki aap one-sided mil rahe ho. For new founders, it will be, acha, if I want to meet somebody, senior, VC investor, that how do I get money out of them? I mean, and you would receive probably a zillion emails like that. And you know that this is what it is. But if one approaches it slightly differently.
For a 25-year-old founder who's not got, who's not yet made a mark, it will be difficult.
Yes.
And that person probably goes into such events and wastes his time. Okay. I would advocate don't, but go direct. You will get an audience with the person you want. Okay. If your approach is honest, to give rather than take.
That's the
key. That's the key. Everybody is going saying, I want something from you. You don't deserve it. I tell a lot of people that come to me like that, I tell them very upfront saying, buddy, you don't deserve it at this stage. You tell me what is in it for me. Don't tell me what's in it for you.
Are we becoming very entitled in our approach?
Oh yes, 100%. 100%.
And that's something that we need to reflect upon and see that just because I put in the effort with an idea, I am entitled to the fact that people will listen to me. Just because I put in the hours, this will be successful, etc.
So who needs to reflect? Somebody who really wants success honestly should reflect upon it. Somebody who wants to be there, I am me too. I also tried a venture. I also tried something. That kind of a person with that mindset will not change. That person will think, no, you know what? I want to be seen. I want to be seen with the right set of people. On LinkedIn, I want to put a picture that, yesterday I was with this person. That kind of a person is not yet there. He will get there in life a little later, where he will realize it was a waste of time. I haven't really gained anything. I haven't really impacted anybody or anything in the country. Will change at a later date, probably. Right? I am not against people posting pictures. I'm not. I'm saying that if it was meaningful, please do. If it was not meaningful to you, reflect. Was it worth meeting that person? Was it worth for that person to meet you?
I think that's the first question, right? That I need to ask. That
Yeah.
I'm approaching somebody. Is his time going to be worth it?
Absolutely. If you can make sense, you do it. It's okay. If you can't, you will realize over a period of time. Okay. And disclaimer on this point is don't listen to me. I am very different. I am different. It's worked for me. I think like this. Okay.
Right.
I am not sure it will work for you.
Because you're giving me disclaimers and you're different, I want a different opinion. Right now, you've also seen, आज का दुनिया में सब कुछ is about personal branding. There is this, it's a buzzword. I think everybody is now कि हाँ मेरे को ये personal branding ऐसे ऐसे करनी है. What's your take on personal?
It's good. Personal branding is important. Okay.
Right.
Again, what do you want to be known as?
Right.
Okay. I want to be known is not enough. I want to be known for something. I want to be known as something. And then once you build a brand, what are you going to do with it? Right? I think it's important to build a personal brand. I agree with you. Okay. But you should have an equally important and a meaningful business for which you can use that personal brand. Okay. Or you probably are part of a larger business. Okay. Where you can use it. If you're able to use the personal brand, please build it. If you're unable to use it, for the sake of, okay, don't do it out of FOMO. Everybody is building a personal brand. I also want to build it. Even if I don't use it, it doesn't matter. But no, that is something that I don't agree with. Yeah.
I love the answer. I want to understand, so what does a typical day hold for you, and how is it that you're making sure that you have time for everything? So you know, I know the goal is holistic happiness. So how do you break down the day that you've managing all aspects of life?
So I walk for about 40 minutes twice a day.
Twice a day.
Twice a day. I walk 40 minutes in the morning, and when the rest of the day, whenever I find time, I keep walking myself. So I do about anywhere between 12 to 15, 20,000 steps a day. And when I'm walking, I'm on the phone, right? I'm finishing up a whole lot of my work as well. You know, whatever is needed to be done, I'm doing that on the phone. So it's not that I'm not working at that time. I'm a lot on Netflix, okay, because I get a lot of inspiration out of those shows. I some of them are pure entertainment, and some of them are both entertainment plus learning. I'm getting inspired from what I see. I spend some time on, practicing my breathing. There's something called as 40 CCB, 40 continuous connected breathing style. I do it thrice a day. Okay, wherever I am, I can do it sitting here. I can do it sitting, or lying down at home. I do that. One of the things that I'm enjoying is spending time with people I love. Okay. Sometimes I'm just spending time with people I love, sitting and doing nothing, just talking, very small talk. And I'm enjoying it a lot more than I've enjoyed anything in my life. But with all this, I'm still working a lot more than before. I'm able to make impact with things that I'm doing with just, conversations. I don't have to physically be anywhere. I'm able to get partners that I need for my businesses with phone calls. And thankfully, people are willing to, look at us very favorably. So yeah, a lot of things are working for me well. I don't know if it will work for everyone else. For me, the day looks like this.
Right.
I love driving. I still don't have a driver. I drive myself. Okay. When I want to, and within the city as well. So,
Right.
So yeah, and I love my food. Even though I've given up sugar and I've given up fried stuff and I've given up a whole lot of the stuff that I used to eat a lot earlier, but I still love my food. So I love going out for lunches. I still love going out for dinners, to right places to eat good food. Yeah, and then meet great founders, meet friends from the industry. I spoke a few things about the VCs, but some of my best friends are VCs. Okay, and I love them because they have the right mindset. Okay, even when I meet somebody, I'm looking at, is this guy in what he is for a meaningful reason or for a meaningless reason, just for a job, for the salary. If I find the person with the same wavelength, then I get along really well. And if they get really along well with me, then I'm learning golf at this age, I've started recently.
Golf is fun.
Yeah, so yeah, it's fun. I mean, still I'm at very
Initially
early.
very frustrating.
Yeah, I'm still at the driving range.
So much.
I love my life where I am today, and I'm able to do what I want to do. That's the one line. At times you keep wondering whether, you missed something. Looking back, there were a million opportunities in real estate. There were a million opportunities to invest in startups. And there are times when I do think, should I have done that also? Should I have done this also? But the real answer that I know is the truth is you can't do everything. And you don't need more than what you have. Unfortunately, about a month ago, it's exactly today, a month ago, I was hospitalized for a health niggle. And this is something I want to talk about because, I was in the ICU for that one day. And for me, life really made sense at that time. I was in that ICU bed and I was surrounded by people, my family, my kids, my business partners, and people who are not in town calling from wherever in the world to check on what's happening every 10 minutes. On that ICU bed, Chirag, I was looking at people with just one word: thank you, God, for giving me this life. Because these people are the ones that made it. All of them, okay, without naming, from both family, business, and friends. I realized that, I am so lucky. That's my wealth.
And your true net worth.
I mean, I don't even use them to connect, or it's not my net worth. I think they're my life.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And I realized what is true wealth, what is true happiness. You can't get that. Because next to me on the ICU beds, opposite me on the ICU beds, okay, I was seeing others. And they were getting one visitor a day, some of them no visitor a day. Okay. And I had to fight with the hospital authority saying, no, you know what, you can't say no to one more person who want to come and see me. And I was like, thank you so much. Thank you, for giving me this life and giving me these people. And even people who were not in town, I actually had to fight with my doctor saying that I need my phone in the ICU. They have these rules, no phone in the ICU. I said, nothing doing. Either I change hospitals or you allow me to keep my phone. And I was on the phone with people that really care, that really, love me. And I don't think there is anything else I'll value more than these people today. And that's the reason I'm talking about in this podcast is because I want to tell everybody around, while you're building companies, while you're building wealth, while you're building everything, don't lose people who can be with you. You've got to invest your time. You've got to have that set of people who will leave everything in the world for you to be there. The other blessing that I have is when I wake up in the morning every day, I see my kids, even though they are both married, I see them every day. They're there in front of my eyes and they're there for at home, if I say if I feel like eating something as simple as this, my cook will make it, but there will be everyone in the house checking on the cook saying that, बनाया ना, ये बनाया ना, इसमें ये डाला, इसमें ये नहीं डाला. And I'm just sitting on the dining table and looking at how much they care. And I'm like, done it. I have made it, yeah. This is what is life. I made it. It's not the Mercs, the BMWs, it's not the penthouses, it's not the foreign holidays. It's not the bank balance. That's life.
That's so inspiring and so deep. I have two things and I bring this hope. You've gone on to this spiritual journey as well. I think the answer shines through this as well, but I'll still throw this question at you. What is it that you've learned about gratitude?
You're talking about gratitude. It means everything. Basically, if you realize, everything you get in your life from the time you're born, okay, till where you are today, no matter how old you are, right? There are so many people who have sacrificed for you. And there is only one way you can give back to some people. You cannot, for certain people who have gone, okay? Like my parents died. I mean, I wish they were alive. I would have done so much for them, but they're not. Now, how do I repay, right? So I do repay in my own way. I know what my mom would have loved. I know what my dad would have loved. And I do it for them, okay? But what I do is not even 0.1% of what I should be doing. No matter how much I do, it will remain that way, right? So I know that I have to be grateful for everything that I have got, and I am. If I, talk about gratitude in a different way. The world has done so much for me without even my knowledge. Why are you here today? All the way from Canada. Why are you here today? Why are you listening to my story? Why do you want to take my story to the world? Why did you reach out to me? This is the world and the universe's way of telling me that, you need to talk so that other people can get something out of it, right? So I am eternally grateful for everything that I get, for everything that I am able to experience and live. Gratitude means a lot to me, and when I see people who are ungrateful, also it hurts me a lot. I see a lot of them, and I also see that they're not very successful with, they're successful with money maybe, but they're not very successful with life. Gratitude brings you a certain amount of stability. So I would recommend to anybody who's listening to this, if you've got anything in life, small, big, whatever, first thing is see who's really played a role in you getting it, who sacrificed, and be grateful. And if you can return the favor, please do. If you can't return to them, please pass it on. There are many people who deserve, that's a very key, that's a key part of my life. Whoever I can't repay because of whatever reasons, I do pass on. I do a lot. That's part of my day as well, So, yeah. I don't know if I'm emotional. I don't think this. Yeah.
And I'll take it a little further. Please choose to answer or not. But one of the podcasts, you'd also mentioned this, that I know that you lost your father very early.
Yeah.
And then you were struggling to get 5,000 rupees when your mother passed away.
For her cremation.
That time
Yeah.
to now, money not being a concern at all.
Yeah.
How do you look back at that time? And what do you feel about it? That
I think it was a journey which was very critical for me. Okay, I am what I am today because of what I went through at that time. That day when I didn't have money for my mom's cremation, I don't know what I felt, because at that moment you don't feel anything. You're just going through the motions, right? You have got your mother's dead body in front of you. You are expected to do certain things. You're unable to do it. So you're angry, you're sad, you have no idea what to do, you're helpless. It's all those emotions together. But at a later stage, that was another turning point in my life, right? Because at that day, I felt so ashamed of myself. Because, if I can't give her a decent cremation, then why am I? I was not 12 years old. I was 25. So, when I look back at that day, I think I'm very grateful again to the universe for giving me that experience. But it also gave me the strength to go through it. It also gave me a friend who came and gave me the money at that time. Imagine if that wouldn't have happened. So when life gives you a problem, life gives you two things with it. It gives you the strength to bear it, and it gives you people around you who really are, the right set of people to be with you. That friend is still part of my life, right? Even today, whenever I have a occasion to talk about it, or whenever I have an occasion in my life, he will be part of it, always. He is, there to celebrate with me. From that circle of friends, there were more than 400 other people in that company that were working, and none of them are part of my life today, except him, right? So, he deserves to be part of my life for that one act, and I'm always grateful. So, thanks for bringing it up. Like I told you at the beginning, there are a lot of things in this podcast I didn't want to repeat because millions of people have heard.
No, but I'm really happy with the way we've had this conversation, and thank you for sharing so many experiences, because the goal was also this. And, I was doing this, that I'd heard the podcast on my own. I had sent my notes to my wife, who's the co-founder as well of our company. And I was like, listen, what do you think? So she had a feedback. And so I came back. My parents are in Delhi. So I was with my dad. I said, Dad, come, let's watch this podcast. And so Dad and I were watching it. And I said, मेरे को ना दो चीज़ें बताना. क्या? ऐसे पहली बात ये बताना कि आपको सबसे अच्छा पार्ट क्या लगा, और दूसरी बात मेरे को ये बताना कि मैं और ऐसी कैसी चीज़ पूछ सकता हूँ, बिकॉज अगर 1.6 मिलियन इसके व्यूज़ हो चुके हैं, इनके इतने सारे हो चुके हैं, देन मे बी आई वॉन्ट टू गेट समथिंग डिफरेंट एज वेल. ही इज़ लाइक, ठीक है, वी सॉ इट. And you know, I was hoping कि अब ना जब उसके बाद answer आएगा and it's going to be like epiphany and something that वो background music when your dad gives you this advice. और अब आ रहा है वो मेरे को because he said सुनना ध्यान से and let it be a natural conversation. फालतू पे इतना ज़्यादा pressure लेके आने की ज़रूरत नहीं. जो best conversation होगी ना उस moment में आएगी. Don't try to create that. And now
Makes sense.
it's making so much of sense like 3 days down the line, because the day I was leaving, the night prior to that, I was like, "Ek aur aake barsat dekho," and that was like, now I understand that what he meant, and I can feel that difference, and I'm so happy that there's so many different examples in everything that you've given, which is really deep as well.
Yeah, I mean, see, for someone as young as you, and you're trying to do something which impacts millions of lives, right? What you are doing, what Rajshaman is doing, what Ranveer is doing. There are today so many meaningful podcasts. What Nikhil Kamath is doing with
Amazing.
stuff. Mukesh Bansal is doing with his podcast. I mean, you guys are all heroes, yeah. You know, I mean, in your own way, because you know what, you don't even realize, probably many of you probably don't realize that many years down the line, somebody sitting somewhere in the world is getting inspired by your work. And maybe your guest spoke something that inspired them, but you're the medium. So what you're doing is awesome, and you know, continue doing it and get the best for the world. And indirectly, you're going to get a lot of those blessings. Okay, whether this gives you money or not, it's very difficult to make money out of podcasts. People don't understand it. A lot of people think that because somebody's got millions of views, that guy's making tons of money. Maybe, maybe not. Some people know how to monetize it. Some people don't. But doesn't matter. Again, like I said, money is one part of your returns, right? But the blessings are going to be insane, right? I think I'm eternally grateful to people like you for taking my story to the people. And I'm lucky I got a chance to share. But like me, there must be millions of other people in India and around the world whose stories are so painful. And they've got this story, you know, after that they have made it.
Right.
All of them don't get a chance to share.
You're absolutely right.
And I'm very lucky that I get a chance to speak. I hope others get to. Everybody's story has so much to learn from.
Absolutely. This experience is so gratifying because, firstly, very happy to have had the career that I've had working with some of the biggest brands there are. But at some level, there was this, I did not feel as if I was solving my purpose. And I was not being 100% of what I wanted to be, who I wanted to be. This gives me an opportunity to have these conversations, learn from people like you and so many others who I've spoken to, and so many more I'll speak to. And eventually, if I was to just sum it up, that the podcast is my way of helping my younger version to be able to get answers and to questions which I had, which I didn't know at the time any better. And that is my segue to the last question that I have for you. I'm going to take you back onto that platform where you've just have had the most horrific experience, where you're angry, you're crying, you're in pain, life isn't fair. You meet that 15-year-old version of Rajesh. What do you say to him today? Having experienced everything that you have had.
It's a difficult question to answer. Okay, if I meet myself when I was 15 years old and that incident is happening, first I would say that, you know, you don't deserve to go through it. Okay, you didn't do anything wrong, you don't deserve it. But having seen the rest of my life, I would say this is one of those experiences that is going to make you a better human being. It will teach you what not to do in life. And also, it will give you the determination not to be in this position again. So, bear with it. It won't last. Nothing in the world lasts. Nothing good lasts. Nothing bad lasts. It's a moment. Go through it. You know, though it's not nice. Go through it now and wait for it to give you its reward. And that's the message for a lot of people when you're going through shit and you're helpless. Okay, if you can help, get out of it. If you can't, just wait for your time. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Cool. This is like the calmest thing I've heard, and I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, I've never thought about meeting myself in time travel. I'm not into quantum physics.
No, but very well said.
Yeah.
And I mean, so profound. I think journey, if I was to give it one word through all this, has been perseverance.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. I think I would say the same word. Resilience, whatever word you want to use.
More or less the, different sides of the same coin.
Yeah, never give up. Never give up, and nothing can bring you down if you don't want it to.